All right, let's knock down some Lacenter basketball. Okay, so we're going to start out with a design template because that is the best way to go. Okay, I'm going to just type in basketball because I don't like navigating. Okay, these are all of the basketball designs. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a couple of the ones that I think are good looking. So like this one here. It'll import and then it'll just automatically zoom in. Okay. From here, I am going to add a piece of clip art. I'm going to scroll down here to the school clip art, and then I'm going to grab one of these. The other one won't be there here shortly. Okay. And then I'm going to go to layers, and I'm going to get rid of that basketball. And, well, I think that I will just scale this down a little bit. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, because I don't want two different colors of blue, and the alternatives are to go through each one of these layers and convert it over to a different blue, one at a time. The other alternative is click this, because that is the universal controls down here. So it just switches everything over all at one time. So let's go in and fix this. Okay, Lacenter basketball and 2018-2019. Okay, and we got ourselves a pretty good design. This here, I think I'd like it if it arced just a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to just use my my keys to bring it down just a touch. And let's arc this just a tad more. Okay, I think that looks great. Okay, we're going to zoom back out. Okay, select it all and raise it up here. Okay, we got a pretty good looking Lacenter basketball design. Okay, I still may want to bring that down just a little farther. No, I like it. Okay, so from here, it's pretty straightforward. Come down here, hit save, and I'm going to go Lacenter basketball. I'm going to call this design A, not basketball, design A. Okay, I'm going to save that off. Let's go and make another. Okay. Design ideas, same, basketball. Let's see, so I just did this design. Let's go ahead and do this design. Okay. And then from here, I am going to, let's go ahead and retype this. Lacenter basketball. Whoops. Layers, let's scroll down here, change this to 2018-19. Okay, I want all of my dark colors to be royal blue. Okay, and all of my light colors I want to be white. Actually, I'm going to take all of my light colors and make them that gray that Lacenter likes to use. Okay, I'm going to take my product color and turn it to this dark heather gray. Okay, it takes just a second to refresh. Sometimes you have to zoom and then, you have to zoom around like that. Okay, so now as you can see, let me see, select all, let's move this up. As you can see that doesn't look all that great on that color because the blues don't really show up that well on the gray. Okay, now in real life they probably would be just fine, but I don't really like to take those sorts of risks. I like more of a sure thing, right? So I'm going to go with white, and I'm going to swap this over to white as well. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3 colors. Okay, and I got a pretty good looking design. Let's take Varsity and change it to Wildcats and zoom in and make sure that looks good. That looks good. Okay, now the only thing that I don't like now is this little bit of text down here. I think that at the very least we should be changing that to gray. Okay, and we might even do the same thing with those little stars. Anything that isn't bordered, I'm going to try to make it so that it shows up a little better. Okay, now I'm pretty happy with that. 3 colors, that'll be all right. If we wanted to, we could go to clip art, and we do have a second piece of art for Lacenter. Okay, we got this little guy here. Okay, and that might actually look good, but we're going to find out here in a second. Experimenting is free on the site. Oh, I need to fix something on that piece of art. So that is all we got, and now I'm going to go save this off as dang, cap lock is now off. Lacenter B. Oh no. Basketball B. Okay. I'm all right. Here we are. Let's do another. I'm just saving us the time that this thing spends saving designs. Really, I'm just saving them off and making it so that there's no reason for you to see some of the boring parts. Okay, let's go over. Oh, let's grab this. I'm really not spending too much time digging around because the fact of the matter is that all of these designs are pretty darn cool and pretty darn easy to modify. So, you know, I have spent time screwing around trying to make sure that that I grab especially cool ones or whatever, but I have since decided that, you know what, it doesn't really matter because these are all really cool designs. They're really well laid out, and there's not really a lot of risk. It's not like you're going to get this wrong. Okay, so I think I spent 30 seconds on this one here. Okay, let's go ahead and spend just a little bit longer and put the Wildcats logo in there. Okay. Now, in this particular case, let's see if we can keep this to just a 1-color design and keep it looking good. Let me see here. Back. Okay. Okay, so in this case here, one of the things that we're going to have to do is you're going to, this art, you could see when I took the outline and made it transparent, it took all of the graphics out of the eye, okay? Because it's actually layered on top. And so when I made the white transparent, it just took away everything that defined that, okay? So the way around this, because the thing is that most of the time people are just using this as a tool to communicate with us what they want it to look like, where they want it to go. Very few people have come over here to check out and take it to, you know, the next natural step, right? So you can use your imagination in this, and it won't be too stressful, I don't think, to imagine what this would look like without that little gray outline on there. Okay, I'm using my keys to make sure that I move it around. That magenta line means that it's dead center from left to right. If you manage to hit the center point top to bottom, a magenta one will also appear left to right. Okay, I think that this is a pretty darn good looking design. I'm going to zoom back out, and I think I'm actually going to go to a different color apparel. So I think that's a pretty darn good looking product too. Okay, so now I'm going to save this off as basketball. I'm going to call this Lacenter Basketball C. All right, C. All right, so I got that one shipped to me. Let's go make another one. Okay, design ideas. Come up here, type in basketball. Go take a look for some basketball. Okay, let's grab this one here. Some of these I've never touched before. There's a ton of designs. Okay, so as you can see, sometimes this thing fills it up to ridiculous size. Okay, this is down on the pocket. This is not getting printed like this. Okay, so we're going to select all. and we're going to move this up. Okay, we're off the pocket. This is a pretty darn large design, but let's go ahead and stick with this. Okay, some of these I get a little bit bogged down because it'll have a whole ton of information that I struggle with trying to figure out what exactly to put in there, because I can't just say Wildcats, Wildcats, Wildcats over and over again or whatever. But let's go ahead and step in here. Bulldogs. You can get away with a lot if you just take whatever information is already in here and just replace it with your school's information. In a ton of cases, you are just fine. Okay, so this is Fullerton. I'm gonna put Lacenter. Okay, champions in this case here. I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna put basketball in here. Whoops. Okay, BASKETBALL. Okay. All right. So, this one here. So, if you want to put maybe a slogan in here, I don't know, desire, drive. Darn, I'm fresh out. Heck, I don't know. That looks. I don't know. I'm out of juice on this. To be the best, you need to practice. That's just embarrassing that I even wrote that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just hit this little X right up here. Gosh, I really want to put something in here. But, okay, so I'm just going to click that and get rid of it. Okay, so undoubtedly not Lacenter colors. So what you'll want to do, here's your tip, okay, is you've usually got a dark color and you've got a lighter color, okay? Whatever your darker color is, make that the darker color. Whatever the lighter color is, make it the lighter color, okay? Leave white alone. And there you go. There's another design, okay? Let's go ahead and save this baby off, okay? Lacenter basketball D, okay? All right, email this to myself. On to the next one, okay? So, add art, design ideas. I would clickety-click, type in basketball, and we're going to come down here, through here, find another one here, okay? I don't know that I've actually messed with this design. Okay, I like to actually get in here and fool around with these things. I don't like to just shove this out and say, hey, here's this really cool product that I don't actually personally use and have no experience with. I don't know that that's a really great way of promoting or selling anything. Okay, so let's see. So there's a couple things that I don't like about this. I don't like the fact that the word season is stepping on top of the word undefeated, and I don't like the fact that season is also stepping on top of my mascot. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave the 2018 alone. This is for an end of season type of thing. But, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make it like that. Okay, so let's come up here and we're going to go with, what do I want to do? Do I want to do Wildcat basketball, Lacenter basketball? Let's go with okay, put my space in there. Lacenter basketball. Okay, so the only problem is that the word basketball is not in mixed case. There you go. All right, so undefeated, let's go with all caps, Wildcats. All right, season, okay. I'm going to squeeze that down just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to come back to that. All right, so let's add art, clip art, scroll on down here, grab my mascot logo, and then we're going to throw this in here. All right, now you can see it in the background. There is, in fact, a basketball in the back. Okay, and I'm going to, while I'm here, I'm going to click on this. I'm going to throw this bright royal blue in there. I think that if I change my apparel color, I'll be happier. Okay, zoom in, come back out. Okay, now you can see that ball much more pronounced in there, which I'm not altogether opposed to. I think that's all right. That is, yeah, there's a couple things that I'm okay with on this. Let me see. Okay, Lacenter basketball. I think what I may just do is come up here and get rid of that and just make this, key this up. Whoops. Okay, so come over here. Now I can use my keyboard, bump that up just a little bit. Okay, that's another thing that I actually didn't notice about this that I don't particularly care about this design. Okay, this one here is 2.4 on the outline. This one here is 5.5. So I'm going to bust this down to 2.4 so that they match, because I don't know why whoever designed this did that, but they sure did. Okay, so let's make this basketball. Okay, now it is set up to fit into a form. The idea is that is for balance. Okay, so the basketball and some of this stuff is like driving the shape of this, right? So I actually want this text to come out just a little bit more. I don't want my letters to be all squished. I think that looks good. Okay, now one of the things that's just catching my eye and not looking right, that's 4.2. That is 2.9. It's so weird that they would have. What did I say this was? 2.9. 2.1. So weird. That is 2.9. That is 2.8. Okay, here's another little trick, okay? Just delete this stupid thing. Take this one here and hit duplicate, okay? That is so bizarre. Check that out. That made it 1.4. Okay. 2.9. Okay. So I'm going to use my keys to get this up so that they're sitting on top of each other. Okay. And then I'm going to use my keys so that I make sure that it goes straight over. Okay. Now here, I will tell you what. If you are concerned ever at any point that you just didn't do it quite right, right? It's not centered. Your eyes are telling you it's not quite centered. And you just can't get it so that it's where exactly you want it, okay? This design here looks pretty good now. I'm pretty happy with this. Maybe I make this just a little bigger, but I'm not going to make a big deal out of any of this stuff, okay? Now, I use my keys, I use my keypad a lot to move stuff around, just because it's easier to make sure that I don't accidentally go, if I'm trying to go left to right, it's hard with a mouse to make sure that you don't go up and down at all. So using your keypad will help out, okay? So I'm pretty happy with all of this, but if I'm concerned that my 2018 and my 2019, sometimes the lines on the ball can make things look weird. There can be all kinds of different things that make it just not feel quite right. And you've done everything that you can think to do, okay? Save and share. Okay, so let's go doggone it. Lacenter basketball E. Okay. The 2018 and 2019 don't look even to me. Darn, I am just having all kinds of troubles with my cap lock. Okay, please double check it for me. It's all you got to do, okay? And then before we go to press, you're going to see a copy, okay? Now, we are human. We do miss notes every once in a while, but 9 out of 10 times better than that. That is actually going to work plenty well, okay? If you don't hear something or see something, please, please, please do not assume that we saw it, okay? You know, we deal with hundreds of jobs, and, you know, on the one job that you're dealing with, you know, please don't assume, because you know, it's no fun when you make an assumption and you turn out to be wrong, okay? Let's go do another design, okay? We got more basketball designs. Okay, tons more basketball designs. Okay, I have a tendency to, you know what, let's go grab, you know what, here's what I'm going to do. Okay, there's a ton of soccer designs. I like pulling from soccer designs because for whatever reason, the people that created these templates, they have a thing for soccer. They also have a thing for basketball, or baseball. Okay, tons of baseball stuff in here. Okay, so here's the thing. The ball is round in both cases. Okay, so these are really easy to swap out. Okay, so here we are. We're going to load up another design. Okay, so zoom back out, select all, and we're going to push this up. And in this case here, I'm going to start out with a black product. Okay, and we're going to zoom in. Okay, so let's come into here. Let's change this to 18. Okay, let's go ahead and before I forget, let's get that soccer ball out of there. Okay, we're going to add clip art, and we're going to type in the word basketball. Okay, so it'll pull up everything that's in the system that's tagged basketball, and there is a ton of stuff in here labeled basketball. Look at that. There's even a basketball that's licking. Because, you know what? Yeah. Because, yeah. Okay, so let's come on down here. And I generally scroll through, even though I've been through this whole menu a bunch of times, this whole selection a bunch of times, I still like to come through and go through the entire set, the entire list, okay, and then I just key it around a little bit, and then settle down. Okay, so I'm going to go turn that blue like that. Okay, I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit, but the thing is that I don't want this text to be under it, so I'm going to bump this around, okay, and get my champions on top of it. Okay, so let's come up here. We're going to change the word champions to basketball. Okay, and we're going to go into layers, and we're going to scroll down here and go to swap out state, and we're going to go, what do I want to put in here? I got Lacenter, I got Wildcats, I got basketball. I think that Lacenter is probably my best choice. Okay, and let's go layers, and we're going to scroll down till we hit soccer, and whoa. Okay, basketball. Oh, what am I doing? Wildcats. Actually, we're just going to go Wildcat basketball. The Center Wildcat basketball 2018. Okay. So, let's see. So what to do with this across the top? That could be like some sort of a motivational thing. I am going to okay, I found a slogan. And I think I'll start using it every time I get stuck like this. Attitude is everything. All right. And there we go. Okay, let's scroll down just a little bit. I got two different shades of yellow. One's the ball, one's the other text. Okay, so let's go ahead and swap this color out because we know that we're using royal blue. Let's swap this out for gray. And let's swap this out for gray as well. Okay, I think we got a pretty darn good looking design. The only thing that I don't like is I'm a little bit concerned about that text right there. So I think that I'm going to go layers. I'm going to scroll down here. And I just think that the outline's a little too big on it. It's either that, or what I should do is swap these two out. Okay, because sometimes what you need to do is have the outline actually in a darker color, and it gives you a little bit of space. It creates a border. Okay, attitude is everything. Lacenter Wildcat basketball. Okay. Lacenter basketball F. All right, so let's come over here, and this is one where I discovered that this template was busted up. There was a problem with it. Okay, so add art, design ideas. Let's go to golf. Okay. Or you know what? Let's come down here to mascots. Okay, because Wildcats do have a pretty cool looking mascot. Okay, so we can find something down here like this Indian design. What is this, Braves or something? Okay. All right, so, and hey, look at that. It's already a basketball design. That's kind of cool. All right, so let's go ahead and add art, clip art. Okay, and if you're watching this and you're not going to Lacenter, right, and you're thinking, gosh, I wish my school's art was in here, all you need to do is get a hold of us, okay, and if you had the art, all the better. If you don't, a lot of the time we're able to figure it out, okay. One of the things that makes the design studio a little bit extra cool is that that our experience has been that most people have a hard time actually getting a hold of their school's mascot art. It's crazy how difficult it can be. How difficult it can be to get a hold of mascot art. So, this is one of the things that we're able to do is to make it so that whole programs are able to come over and start working with us. Okay, so here is something that I knew was going to happen sooner or later. Okay, so you can see this item here is all one piece. Okay, so I can't really move this around, but I don't like the way that the 20 and the 18 are pushed up. There's this big space. To grab a hold of these two items, I wind up grabbing a hold of a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't want to get a hold of. Okay? So what I can do is I can click on this, and I have no ability to grab two items at one time. Okay? So I've got a couple different options of how to handle this, okay? One of the things that I like to do, and it's just sort of a silly way of getting around things, but it is what it is, okay, is I will hit copy, and then I will hit delete, okay? So now you can't really see it. Let me change the product color, okay? Okay, so you can see that black rectangle. You can't really see it when I'm on a black shirt. Okay, so I'm going to use my keys to bring this down just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to right-click and hit paste. Okay, now it drops it on the very top, right? Which is kind of dumb, but I mean that's just kind of the way it is. Because anytime you paste something, it goes right on top. The computer doesn't sit there and think what my intentions are. Okay, so now I've got a hold of this. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to go send to back. Okay, that should have worked, but it did not. All right. So, I was able to get it down a little bit. No, it dropped it right dead center in the middle. Wow. Okay. So we are taking the long, long, long way around of getting where I want to go. Okay, so let's recolor this thing and move on to the next design. Okay, so I want to take that and turn this into the light royal. I want to take, in this case here, let's undo that real quick. Okay, redo, put this back into place. Okay, so let's go and put this on let's settle on what color apparel we're going on. Let's go on black. Okay, I actually know what happened. I copied it, I changed my color, and it did something. It did something to make it weird. All right, so here's what I got. I'm going to go with my text. I want my text to be filled with white, and I want this text also to be filled with white. I want the outline to be, I actually like this Russell Gray. That didn't work very well. Let's go with this darker color. Okay, that worked all right. Now, I have this one here is set at this navy blue and this charcoal. So let's swap this out to light royal and go with this being that gray there. So now I'm down to 4 different colors. Okay. Now, I believe that this color here, I'm just going to go like this because I believe that that was in my text. Yeah. Okay. Oh, no, maybe that was my wildcat. Anyway, I'm going to leave this whole, leave the art with all of my misstatements and so on. I'm not going to try to clean this up too much because it is what it is. I mean, art can be a trifle messy, and that's the way it is. Okay, so let's turn this outline to white. Yeah, get that off of there. Okay, there. I think that this is pretty cool. The only thing that I think I would like is if when you want to do something like this, you want to say you want to do like this. I want my my wildcat to really pop, right? So I'm going to need the shirt color to be around here. Now it's saying here that this is 4 colors. Okay, you'll want to just kind of chill out on getting too excited that this is a 4-color design because we're not going to print the black. Okay. Same with this basketball. I may just mess with this like this too. I think that looks pretty darn cool. And I'm going to go ahead and save this off. This is a 3-color design when we go to press. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next design. This should be basketball F, and this started out with as a completely different design. Let me see here. Lacenter basketball F. All right. I am, 40 minutes into this, and I've got A, B, C, D, E, F. I got 6 designs, okay? And I'm just going fast, right? I'm not trying to be particularly awesome because I'm throwing away all of these except for one, right? So this is another reason why you just want to flat go fast, okay? Because the thing is that I've seen a ton of people try to go slow and steady and do it perfect and right, and all they do is wind up creating one design that nobody likes, and then some other guy comes through, spends 2 minutes in minimal amount of effort, and he comes up with something really good because he used his intuition and didn't try to think this thing, too much. Okay, so all right, and whoops, darn, I don't know why I keep hitting the wrong one. Okay, so instead of lacrosse, basketball. Okay, and then we're going to add art, clip art. We're going to come down here and grab that, and we're going to grab that, and okay, so okay, super easy, super clever. Well, I don't know. It's not particularly complex, and it really doesn't need to be. Sometimes it's like that favorite meal that you have. There's a time and a place for PBJ, and I had somebody show me how to cook chicken one time, and I couldn't believe how tasty it was. And I asked him what was on it, and he said, "Oh, it's just salt." I couldn't believe it. Like, I had been fooling around trying to do something super clever in the kitchen, and it turned out that all right, so, well, that's a drag, because I thought that I was recording something. Okay. Design ideas. Okay, here's what I did. I'm in mascots, and I was just scrolling through. And this design here, I've just liked this design for a long time. I've never sold it. It's just one that it catches my eye every time. So I'm going to go ahead and work with this. I have no idea when Lacenter was established. Okay, so I'm just going to nix that. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm just going to put 18 in there for 2018. Okay, then I'm going to go click on my layers. I'm going to dump that. We're going to go into clip art, scroll down here to the mascot head, and then I'm going to grab this Lacenter wildcat head. Okay, now before I get to trying to figure out a final resting place for that, I'm going to let it sit on top of that for a second. Okay, so I've got Palm Bay, Cougars, and football. You can do whatever you jolly well feel like. There's no rule that says that this needs to be that this needs to be the city, or that this needs to be the mascot, or that this needs to be the sport. You can make basketball, Wildcats, Lacenter, Wildcat. You can do whatever you want, okay? So don't feel like just because I happen to be doing it the way that the thing's laid out, that I'm somehow creating a better design that way. The thing about this is just to follow your intuition, experiment, I'm actually really good at design work. And a lot of the reason is because I put in the time every day for a very long time, where what I did was I found other people's designs and I just made my own version until one day I was able to look at it was that exercise, that daily exercise, that caused me to have a feel after a while for what made a good design, and what made a design good, right? Now I can't quite see. Okay, there was something about the way that this T was coming into that little thing behind his ear. It looked like some kind of a continuation, and because of that, it just keeps catching my eye. That didn't really help. I may just have to get over it. Alright, so it's still sitting on top of basketball, but I don't think that I really care. I may take Wildcats and bump that up, so now it's bumping into the T in Lacenter, but that's not a huge deal. Okay, so from here, I don't know, I can move this up, I can make them bump into each other again, I could experiment with the size. I can definitely make the 18 bigger now, because I created a little more space in there. I think this is a pretty darn cool design. I'm going to save this off, and I am, 40 minutes into this, and I've got A, B, C, D, E, F. I got 6 designs, okay? And I'm just going fast, right? I'm not trying to be particularly awesome, because I'm throwing away all of these except for one, right? So this is another reason why you just want to flat go fast, okay? Because the thing is that I've seen a ton of people try to go slow and steady and do it perfect and right, and all they do is wind up creating one design that nobody likes, and then some other guy comes through, spends 2 minutes in minimal amount of effort, and he comes up with something really good because he used his intuition and didn't try to think this thing, too much. Okay, so all right, and whoops, darn, I don't know why I keep hitting the wrong one. Okay, so instead of lacrosse, basketball. Okay, and then we're going to add art, clip art. We're going to come down here and grab that, and we're going to grab that, and okay, so okay, super easy, super clever. Well, I don't know. It's not particularly complex, and it really doesn't need to be. Sometimes it's like that favorite meal that you have. There's a time and a place for PBJ, and I had somebody show me how to cook chicken one time, and I couldn't believe how tasty it was. And I asked him what was on it, and he said, "Oh, it's just salt." I couldn't believe it. Like, I had been fooling around trying to do something super clever in the kitchen, and it turned out that all right, so, well, that's a drag, because I thought that I was recording something. Okay, design ideas. Okay, here's what I did. I'm in mascots, and I was just scrolling through, and this design here, I've just liked this design for a long time. I've never sold it. It's just one that it catches my eye every time. So I'm going to go ahead and work with this. I have no idea when Lacenter was established. Okay, so I'm just going to nix that. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm just going to put 18 in there for 2018. Okay, then I'm going to go click on my layers. I'm going to dump that. We're going to go into clip art, scroll down here to the mascot head, and then I'm going to grab this Lacenter Wildcat head. Okay, now before I get to trying to figure out a final resting place for that, I'm going to let it sit on top of that for a second. Okay, so I've got Palm Bay, Cougars, and football. You can do whatever you jolly well feel like. There's no rule that says that this needs to be that this needs to be the city, or that this needs to be the mascot, or that this needs to be the sport. You can make basketball, Wildcats, Lacenter, Wildcat. You can do whatever you want, okay? So don't feel like just because I happen to be doing it the way that the thing's laid out, that I'm somehow creating a better design that way. The thing about this is just to follow your intuition, experiment. I'm actually really good at design work, and a lot of the reason is because I put in the time every day for a very long time, where what I did was I found other people's designs and I just made my own version until one day I was able to look at it was that exercise, that daily exercise, that caused me to have a feel after a while for what made a good design, and what made a design good, right? Now I can't quite see. Okay, there was something about the way that this T was coming into that little thing behind his ear. It looked like some kind of a continuation, and because of that, it just keeps catching my eye. That didn't really help. I may just have to get over it. Alright, so it's still sitting on top of basketball, but I don't think that I really care. I may take Wildcats and bump that up, so now it's bumping into the T in Lacenter, but that's not a huge deal. Okay, so from here, I don't know, I can move this up, I can make them bump into each other again, I could experiment with the size. I can definitely make the 18 bigger now, because I created a little more space in there. I think this is a pretty darn cool design. I'm going to save this off, and okay, so here we are. I saved that one off. Design ideas. Okay, so I am still in the mascots one. Doop, 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 doop. Let's go here. Alright, so zoom back out, select all. Let's move this up onto the chest. It puts it in the center of the box, and we decided that we just wanted to make this thing so that you could really lay it out the way that you want. And if you wanted to put something, like we've got a program right now where they were fooling around with the idea of putting each one of the player numbers on the pocket, because they saw something in our showroom. And then they just decided not to, but it gave them the ability to see what it looked like with their logo on the chest, and they didn't have to guess and spend, and we didn't have to spend time coming up with something. Okay, so here we go. Sometimes I like to leave the logo on here, right? Because these designs are very well balanced, and because they're so well balanced, if I even sometimes just that little bit of moving around from deleting something to adding something in, it doesn't feel right when I'm putting it back on there. Like this one here, I probably wouldn't have noticed that I was stepping on top of this text, right? Except for now I can see that that this cat thing was covering it as well. So I'm going to start out by changing that color so that I can see what I'm doing a little better. Centralia High Marching Band, Cougars. All right. Let's go in here and what do I want to do? Let's think this through just a tiny bit. Okay. Marching is the longest word in here. I mean, not besides Centralia. But okay, so if I go to marching and I type in basketball and I go with up to layers and I go with Lacenter like that. Oops, see, that's what happens when you don't key around. You kind of meander and lean all over the place. Okay, so let's go and let's change band to, let's see what happens when I throw Wildcats in here. Okay, and then where the word Cougars is, let's put 2018, 19 in here. Okay, so what I may wind up doing is, you know what I can do is I can actually just completely redo this design. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go like this, and then I'm going to change this outline because I'm going to mock this up as a one color design. Okay, so I'm going to leave the blue. I didn't mean to hit the blue. I meant to hit that one there. Okay, so that might be what it looks like if I make it so that it prints as a one color print, because we won't print the gray. Okay, so let's go ahead, and from here I'm going to go File, Save. This is Design H. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've got a different idea, and what I like to do is I like to do save points. So if I'm designing and I'm moving along and I'm creating cool stuff, and then I've got another idea, what I don't want to do is just continue creating, because every once in a while you get to the end of what felt like a good idea, but it turns out to be just a complete bomb. And what you wind up doing is you're either sitting there going, undo, and hopefully, you didn't like modify things so much that it's just a train wreck, getting back, or you miss it, or you give up, or something. So what I will do, okay, so right there is my magenta line, and I'm going to shrink this down some. So what I like to do is I like to go and create save points, and I have complete access to that design that I just saved off. Okay, so let's snap to center, and then snap to center, and I'm not going to assume that that is to center. Doesn't look like it's too far off. Okay. All right. And then even with this one here, I'm gonna hit snap to center. I think. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to use my keys. And in this case here, I think that dumping the year is probably going to look best. And here we have a really nice stripped down, simple design. Okay, didn't take a whole lot of effort or work. And the thing is it really is true. Sometimes just putting one seasoning on the food that you're cooking just makes it great. Okay, so I'm going to save this off, and I'm going to actually save this off as a different design because, well, it is a different design. And if I could figure out how to make a capital I show up, that'd be awesome. Okay, so that is about where I'm going to cut it off. If you want to check out other videos, I'm putting up new stuff all the time. We're setting up a series of videos so that if you want to see what it looks like if you've got an isolated thing, like you want to understand how to recolor stuff, you want to understand how to upload art better, instead of having 1 2-hour video, I'm going to create 20 little videos that are all specifically geared so that you can quickly and easily find the video in our YouTube channel that is all about editing text. Okay, when there's 150 different types of fonts to go through here, and you've got to navigate these different styles. You know, that shouldn't be in one overarching video. When you have all of these different shapes that you can put the text into, and then you can actually, you know, you can change it so that if it's arched, it's not like there's only one shape of arch. You can have intensity of the arch. You know, that's its own thing. So anyway, I'm out of here.